This is a brief overview on how to create your own photo story. To begin with, we're going to create some blank picture slides that can be used to just put our words. To do that, we'll go into Microsoft Publisher and we'll go to blank page sizes and just go into letter portrait. Once you're in Publisher, you're going to get the box tool, the rectangle tool, which is over on the left-hand side. And we are going to draw the shape of a rectangle. It can be fairly large if you want it to be. At this point, you'll right-click on the rectangle, go to Format Auto Shape, and we'll take the lines off of it, and you can fill it with any color of your choice. You can even fill it with a two-color slide, like if you had a color scheme going on where you wanted some colors going on. And click OK. And click OK. So you can see I've got just a nice light blue background there, fading as you go to the bottom. Next, we're going to right-click on our finished color block, and we're going to click Save as Picture. Save as Picture. Give it a name, probably a name corresponding to the color. So I'm going to call this one Blue Fade, and I'm going to change the file type to the second one, which is JPEG. And then I'm going to click Save. You can see I already created just a plain white one. Then you can close out a Publisher, and you don't need to save anything in Publisher. Next, we're going to get into PhotoStory by clicking Start, and it's either in All Programs or it's right up above All Programs. PhotoStory 3 for Windows. We'll click on Begin a New Story. And this is the screen where you'll import all the pictures that you're going to be working with. A couple of things to mention: you can always go back on the screen, so if you forget a picture you can come back to it. I'm going to start with my Blue Fade. That's going to be my title slide. I'm going to click OK. And it is helpful to put them in the order of what you're going to be talking about. Then from here on out, I'm going to use a white background. And we want to sort of mix a slide, at least one photo for every word slide. So the blank ones are going to be where you put your words. Then we're going to click Next. And you'll probably get a message that says that the story has black borders. Do you want to remove the black borders? I'm going to say no, and I'm going to go back and remove all the black borders. And it gives you a before and after, and we can just say yes to all. Next, I will click Next. And this is where I can start my beginning slide. So it might be Natural Connections by Mrs. Holmes. Now, you can do some different effects on here. Feel free to play with any of these things. You can also play with your fonts by selecting them and getting into the font menu. You can change the fonts themselves. And remember, we're sticking with scripty fonts are okay for our headings, but probably not okay if we have a lot of text on our slide. And you can also change the color. So I'm going to go with a nice bright blue. Click OK. All of these things can be changed. It looks like that might be a little too big. So I'm going to go back in here and resize it so it fits on one slide. Pretty close. Then I'll click Next. And if I wanted to record any sounds, I could do that on that slide. While you're on the photo slide, you need to select each and every photo before you move on. So there's a couple things we can do. We can customize the motion. start position, end position. You can drag things around. You can set how long the slide is going to take. And you can also preview it to see what it's going to look like. So you can see how it kind of zooms in on the dump truck in my picture. And if I'm happy with that, then I click close. And I can move on to the next one. Got to get back to the word selection. So this is where I could describe the next picture that I'm going to have. It makes sense to have words before your pictures. So here is a dump truck, which I'm typing on the slide that's selected, but I can move it so that it comes before the dump truck picture. Then I'm going to need one more picture before the shooting machine. So I'm going to go back and import another white background. So once you've got those color slides in Publisher, you can reuse them over and over again. Then I click Next. Here's my white background. This is where I can type. And then when I have all my pictures and all my words and all my slides done, I can click Next. Now, one thing to think about, you can save the project as you go. The project is your PhotoStory project. It's not our final movie, but as we're working through this, we're going to save our project so we can come and pick up wherever we leave off. So you can name it Natural Connections and click Save. And notice I'm in the middle of the program when I did that, so it's fine to do that. Then click Next. It says to select music. I'm not to, don't really care if you have music or not, if you want to play with that. The biggest thing to consider is that the volume needs to be turned way down so that it's not disruptive to the project. Then you can click Next, and you can also preview it to see what it sounds like. And I can't hear that at all, so I might need to turn it up. And that's a little too loud. But you kind of get the idea. Any songs that you might be using need to be selected from shareware where you're not going to be violating copyright. Then you'll click Next, and this is the final steps of the project. So this is not until you're completely done putting it together. You click Next, Save Back for playback on your machine, which puts it in a certain file type, and you want to browse and make sure that things are going where we want them to. Like this is a video, so we want to make sure it's in the video files. And when all of those things are done, we can click Next, and this is where it will actually build the video. And the very last step, it says, would you like to view it or do you want to create another one? So when we're looking at this step, this is your final product. This is the WMV file, which is a movie file. This is when we want to view it. You can make changes if you need to, but this is kind of what it looks like. So you can see my text was a little big there. It's showing you each of the pictures kind of with that motion. The very end of your slide should have credits as to where you got the pictures from. Most of these pictures were taken by Seeley Lake Elementary students and staff. but we want to give credit where credit is due. When you are finished, you're going to exit out, and I will give you further instructions for how to turn those in. And again, we made some more project changes, so we're going to click Save. And that's all there is. Have fun.